So we just qualified for our first major tournament a few weeks ago by beating Serbia to claim our place at the Euro 2021 tournament. But I think you may as well stock up on the Iron Brew. I think there could be more celebrations inbound because the World Cup draw was today, and I've got to say, I fancy our chances in this group. So today we were drawn alongside Denmark, Austria, Israel, Faroe Islands, and Moldova. And you're probably thinking, why the fuck do we have to play Israel 24/7, 365 days a year? I don't know. It sucks. But we keep getting them. We've got the same colours in our flag. Maybe that's it. Maybe we should force Israel to change their blue and we won't get them. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. But I can't say I'm too happy about it because even though I think Israel's a team that we should be beating, I think quality wise we're a lot better than them player for player. On paper we look a lot better, but we always seem to struggle against Israel. Even when we beat them, we don't beat them comfortably. We just beat them by like one or two goals, and it's not really. I looked at the pot four and I'm thinking, right, this group's going good for us so far. Give us anyone but Israel, and I don't even think Israel's the hardest team in pot four. I'd say it would have been Bosnia, but I just did not want Israel. But that is who we got. So anyway, guys, like I said, in the group we did get Denmark, Austria, Israel, Faroe Islands, and Moldova. There was, I think there was like 4 groups of 5, and then 5 groups of 6, something along those lines. We were in the group of 6. I don't know if it really matters. The important thing to keep in mind here is that the group winner automatically qualifies for the World Cup itself, and then the runner ups from each group will enter a playoff qualifier along with the two highest seeded teams from the Nations League that didn't finish in the top two of this World Cup draw. So, if you don't finish in the top two of these World Cup qualifiers, you still have a potential back door route into the World Cup by the Nations League. Although we did not win our Nations League due to losing the last 2 games, so that means that is gone for us. The only way we will be at the World Cup is if we win the group and we automatically go, or if we come second and we sneak our way into the playoffs. So it's going to be pretty difficult. First automatically gets you there, second gives you a second bite at the cherry. Looking at this group though, Denmark, Austria are the 2 seeds above us. So on paper, they should be finishing first and second. But on paper, I've got to say, I think I think we're better than Austria. Definitely think we're better than Austria. And as for Denmark, I don't fear them. I really don't. I'm looking at the pot one teams, and realistically, pot one you had Belgium, France, England, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Croatia, Denmark, Germany, and Holland. You'd have to say Denmark are probably the weakest team in pot one. You could make an argument for maybe England, but aside from that, I don't think there's anyone you'd rather want apart from Denmark. And I would have probably preferred England, but that's more due to the fact I like to play England. I think because they're our rivals, the hatred's there, the passion's there. The more games against England for me, the better. But I would say England are probably better than Denmark. I know Denmark recently beat England, but I think that England are probably above Denmark, and I would have to say out of the 10 teams in pot one, Denmark are probably the weakest. You move on to pot two. I don't think Austria are the weakest team in pot two at all, but I certainly don't think they're one of the strongest teams. I was looking at pot two. The team I wanted to avoid the most was Poland. I'd have probably been happy if you offered me anyone but Poland. After Poland, I probably didn't want Wales. It's probably Wales and Switzerland are the 2 teams that I was wanting least after Poland. So to get Austria, I can honestly say I wasn't too upset. Austria, like I said, they're not the weakest team. You're looking at Romania. You probably definitely wanted Romania out of pot two. I think they are by far the worst team there. But we got Austria, so Denmark and Austria, I think, are 2 teams that we can definitely finish above in a group stage. Obviously, we've covered pot four. We got Israel. Moving on to pot five and six. I don't think really matters now. Faroe Islands on paper are their rankings. They are the third best team in pot five, but I don't think it really matters too much. If we cannot take 6 points off Faroe Islands, then we probably don't deserve to qualify for a World Cup. And then in pot six, it doesn't matter. Pot six has to be, it has to be 6 points over the two games, and then obviously we got Moldova. So the way I see it, if we take 12 points off the pot five and pot six teams, that has to be the aim. So you automatically you got 12 points. We should be taking six off Israel, but like I said, we seem to struggle. Would I accept four of them? To be honest, I might. If you offered me 4 points against Israel right now, I would maybe take it. That then would put us on to 16. And then we just need to get a couple of wins against the top two seeds, and I don't see why we can't do that, guys. So I'm optimistic here. I think this is the best draw Scotland have had in my lifetime. I cannot remember Scotland getting a better draw. I cannot, or at least maybe we've had like easier draws in the past when we weren't as good as we are now. But I genuinely believe I don't. We're ranked 48th in the world. We're ranked in Europe. We're ranked below the likes of Iceland, Northern Ireland, Hungary, Romania. I don't think for 1 second we're worse than those teams. I'd say we're a pot two team. Without a shadow of a doubt, I think we're a pot two team. And I think in probably a few years' time, that's where we'll end up being, because I think results will improve. I think we'll continue to win games, pick up ranking points. And I do think we'll move up these rankings. But at the moment, we're pot three. And we've got to take advantage of it. And I think we've been given a good group here, guys. And the conference is there. We've just qualified for a tournament, albeit the last two games of the Nation League was poor. But now we've got to put that aside, and we've got to kick on here. It's great qualifying for Euros. It's absolutely fantastic after not having anything for over 20 years. But you've got to be real here. The Euros is one thing, but the World Cup is a whole different story, and it would be absolutely tremendous if we can qualify for a World Cup. And with this group, I genuinely think we can. I would be majorly disappointed if we do not at least get ourselves a playoff spot. I'll put my head on the line here. I don't think Austria will finish above us. I think it's going to be between us and Denmark for the number one spot, and I think we can beat Denmark. But if not, I think we should be at least finishing second, and then hopefully qualifying for the playoff spot. Now, how the playoffs will work is you've got the 10 teams that finish second, and then you've got the two teams that are the best placed teams from the Nations League that didn't finish in the top two. So that's 12 teams in total, and it will be similar to the Nations League playoffs for the Euros. It will just be the 12 teams will be separated into three different paths. So that means in these three different paths there will be 4 teams each, and then it'll be 2 semi-finals and a final. And so obviously you're going to get 3 teams qualifying from those 12, and that means there will be 13 teams from Europe going to the World Cup. Will Scotland be one of those teams? So that is the question, guys. Let us know what you think down below. I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic. I think we will. I think we're going to qualify. I do. I put my head on the line here. I thought Steve Clarke was going to come in and do the job, and I'll be honest, first couple of games I was nervous as fuck. I thought, you know what, this guy is not the man for us. I thought I got it wrong, but since then he's turned things around, and I think we've got to get behind the guy now. I think we've got to get behind our country. We've got to get behind Scotland, and maybe luck's on our side. Like I said, we qualified for our first tournament in 23 years, and now we get one of the easiest groups I've seen us get. So yeah, I am optimistic. I am confident. I think we've got a good group of players at the moment, and I think the first few qualifiers will be happening before the Euros. So you can imagine not only are the players going to be wanting to win to try and help us qualify for the World Cup, they're going to be wanting to win to try and make sure that they get their place in the Euro Championship. So I think we're going to be up for it, and I think we'll go off to a good start, to be fair. I don't know what the draw is, but I hope the first couple of games, I hope we get Denmark, I hope we get Austria, because I think that'll be our best opportunity to take it to them and try and pick up maximum points. So I think we're going to go through, guys, but you know what? My opinion doesn't really mean shit. It's all what Steve Clarke can get out of them. As for the other home nations, Wales were drawn in Group E with Belgium, Czech Republic, Belarus, and Estonia. I fancy Wales' chances of getting second in that group. I think they will. Obviously, Belgium are very strong. I don't think Wales can. Obviously, they can, but I don't think they will beat Belgium over the course of the whole group stage. Maybe a one-off game they'll beat them, but I do think Belgium will win that group. But I think Wales will come second. In Group A, Republic of Ireland were drawn against Portugal, Serbia, Luxembourg, and Azerbaijan. I do think Portugal, as a national side, are overrated. I think they're very reliant on Cristiano Ronaldo. That being said, I think Republic of Ireland are probably the worst they have been. I wouldn't say ever, like, because obviously I'm not that old, but in my lifetime, I don't remember Republic of Ireland being this bad. Maybe not necessarily in terms of rankings or whatever, but I'm just looking at the Republic of Ireland squad, and normally in the past they had a lot of good players, but now I don't think they do. I honestly don't think they do. I'm looking at the Republic of Ireland side, and how many players are genuinely good? How many players would get in the Scotland team? Would any get in the Scotland team? Let's be real here. I'd say maybe Shane Long. Probably take Shane Long. Apart from him, I don't really see it. I mean, Doherty's all right. Perhaps we'd take Doherty at right back, but the rest isn't really there. Northern Ireland, they were drawn in Group C with Italy, Switzerland, Bulgaria, and Lithuania. It's a tough group for Northern Ireland. It's going to be hard to see them getting in the top two. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they can finish above Switzerland and get a playoff spot. But like I said, it's going to be easier said than done. England's group, they were drawn in Group I. Now, when I was watching the group draw, and I was hoping, right, give them Poland, give them Poland, and they got Poland. And in my opinion, Poland's undoubtedly the best team in pot two. So I'm thinking, right, England are going to get a hard group. But since after they got drawn against Poland, literally they almost got the easiest team from every pot from Poland onwards. So it's going to be England, Poland, Hungary, Albania, Andorra, and San Marino. So I think Poland could. I think Poland. I don't know if they will, but I think Poland could beat England in that group. But I mean, England are the group's that weak that England are practically guaranteed to get second. So I think they will be in the playoffs. Now Hungary are ranked the second best team in pot three, but I don't see that at all. I think that's a false ranking. For sure as shit, they're not better than us. So it's definitely a false ranking, guys. But there you go. That is the World Cup draw. I'm optimistic about Scotland's chances. I think we'll get at least a playoff spot, and I'm absolutely praying that we'll be at the World Cup. But before we get to that, we just got to go to the Euros first and put in a good show in there. But we'll see what happens. At least we haven't been screwed. The last thing you wanted was to get two teams like I don't know, like get France and Poland, and then you're thinking, well, fucking hell, you know what I mean? Straight away, we're humped. At least with this group, I can see how we can qualify it, and I'm not having to be optimistic. I'm not having to clutch at straws here. I genuinely can see us beating Denmark and Austria. It's not that far fetched that we can finish above those two teams. Anyway, let us know what you think down below in the comments. Will we qualify? And until next time, peace.